Hi guys, and welcome to State of Crypto, your one source for all crypto related news. I'm your host Martin, and this is episode 19. A new case for Bitcoin, South Korean exchanges go broke, and Binance DEX to list Pundi X NEM. Now guys, can I get a mic check? I really want to know if the audio is good and the music is good, right? If someone can send me something on chat, that'll be great. Okay, well, apparently there's no one on chat yet, so we are gonna keep on going. Okay, so I'm not a financial advisor. This is all for entertainment and education purpose only. Please do your own research before you invest or purchase any cryptocurrency or digital asset. If you're catching this stream live, welcome, and if you're catching the replay and have any suggestions, please make sure you leave us a comment below. If you want to keep up to date with the latest cryptocurrency news, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button and that bell, so that you're notified when we go live. And if you want to keep on chatting with us once the stream is done, you can join us on Discord. The link is in the description. Now, on to the news. Guys, 1 second real quick. So apparently the sound is good. Thank you, SoCas Cool. Thanks for the confirmation, right? On to the news now. Appears that almost all the crypto exchanges in South Korea could go bust. Why, you might ask? Well, it's due to extremely low trading volumes they are seeing. Now, it's estimated that almost 97% of the South Korean exchanges are going bankrupt, as was reported by Business Korea. And it is believed that the reason for this is that we're seeing all these people leaving the exchanges and all that money not being traded there is due to the regulatory chokehold that the authorities have placed on the cryptocurrency exchanges and the domestic blockchain projects, right? So what do you guys think? Do you guys think it will affect a lot the market that some of these exchanges close? I mean, I'm not sure how saturated the South Korean exchanges are, or how many exchanges are there, so if the market's oversaturated, and that could be the reason they're having problems. Maybe the main exchanges are not having those many problems with trades happening on them. However, probably the shorter, or not shorter, the smaller exchanges will have the shortest amount of trades, and could potentially be the ones that are the most affected. Now on to other news. Right, yesterday Bitfinex confirmed that it burned nearly 40,000 of the Leo token. Right, that would be approximately $53,600, and it's part of the continuous process that they said they'll eventually redeem the entire supply. Right now, Leo token launched for a price of $1, and it's now trading at around $1.34, so 34% gain this year. And the Leo token burn is conducted directly on the market, whereas the Binance burn is conducted on their Binance treasury. Now, Bitfinex says that 100% of the supply of Leo is going to be burned, and Binance says that only 50% of their supply is going to be burned. So Bitfinex is also saying that they burn tokens every 3 hours, and so they have a countdown on countdown timer on their website, which indicates when the next burn is set to happen. Now, could it be a potentially good token to hold short term? Yeah, I mean, if they're burning supply constantly and it's being burned from what's circulating and not on the treasury, then yeah, it could potentially have some good impact on the price, at least short term. Later on, once the supply is dwindling, who knows what's gonna happen to it, right? But for the time being, yeah, it could be a good short-term purchase. Now, it's not a recommendation. That's just what I think. You guys make up your own mind regarding that, right? Now, on to BitMEX. BitMEX. If you live in Hong Kong, Seychelles, or Bermuda, you will no longer have access to BitMEX, as it is banning these 3 jurisdictions. Now, BitMEX stated that they decided to restrict access to BitMEX for users in the jurisdictions in which HDR affiliate employees and offices are located. Now, this change, they said, will not have any financial impact on the business and will affect very few people. I'm not sure how many people they have on their exchanges in Hong Kong, in Seychelles, and in Bermuda. But if it's few people, then yeah, it'll affect few. But still, it'll be people that will not be using their platform to buy and sell. Now, on to market cap. All right, let's look at total market cap on the daily. All right, market cap on the daily. Yesterday, we had a red day, right? Losing 1.72% of market cap. Closing at 269.41 billion. Right now, sitting at 266.8 billion, which puts it losing 0.89%. And yeah, I mean, it's not that bad. Seems to be contracting right a little bit. Really don't do technical analysis on market cap because it's just inflow and outflow of money to the market. On to Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance. Yesterday closing positive, right? 0.47% from an opening. Yeah, this will be the 19, right? Sorry. Yesterday, Bitcoin dominance was up 0.47% from a opening of 70.10 and closing at 70.42. Right now, it was a little bit weird because it was hard to see this small doji here, which is tiny. I mean, right now, open the day 2 hours ago, right? So right now, it's sitting neutral at 0, still at 70.42. That's why it was a little bit hard to see and determine which one was the day. Anyways, dominance being neutral right now for Bitcoin. Let's see how it develops throughout the rest of the day. On to Bitcoin news. Now, there is another case that would propose that Bitcoin could be a good crypto to hold and solve a lot of problems. Now, according to reports, there has been a massive cleanup of Ghana's banking system, which left 70,000 people wondering where their savings have gone. Now, it's estimated that $1.6 billion have been wiped out. That is over 1/3 of the assets that private fund managers supervise for retail and institutional investors in that country. And Ghana's SCC has blocked asset managers from receiving new investments, as they may use that money to pay out the existing investors, right? If they do that, it would create sort of a Ponzi scheme where people take the latest investors' money to pay the older investors' money, right? And that they don't want that to happen. It would be really bad. Now, many people are already blaming the government for not having adequate provisions to prevent such financial fiascos. And Rhythm Trader stated that the savings of tens of thousands were wiped out overnight. This is why saving your wealth should be simple and not need a middleman. Bitcoin fixes this, right? Bitcoin is a solution that definitely lets you take control of your finances, and you wouldn't have this problem. This is also, I would say, an education problem, because when people are in school, people don't teach them what to do with their money and how to save for when they're older, right? And maybe there should be some classes in high school, in middle school, about saving and preparing for the future, and how much is good to save, how much is good to spend, making budgets and things like that. And maybe the whole economic system would be much better off. Now, a lot of this education, if you study finance, you would get it. But if you don't, then you're basically left to whatever you can find on the internet to educate yourself. And yeah, a lot of people would still not save, which would be a problem for the government because someone has to take care of them. But I mean, they should just let certain people fend for themselves when they can't, when they have had the ability to save but chosen not to for their retirement, right? Now we're gonna look at Bitcoin chart real quick. Bitcoin chart, the main chart, right? This one. Still in the downtrend, trading up the 75% equidistant channel lines from the 75% to the 100%. That's where on that channel that we're in right now. We're broken back into it, have a closing above, and now we are touching it and bouncing off it. And we're gonna go look at the other chart, which is a little bit cleaner, so we can see what's going on. Right? It'll be this chart. All right, cool. Like we said yesterday, right? We were touching the 0.618, which would potentially bring us down because it was a retracement zone. We mentioned it. We said that if we go down, we were likely going to touch that resistance, that support that we have, and we're probably going to bounce off it. And if we go into the 4 hours, we're going to see that we almost touched it and bounced off it, but we could make adjustments on the chart and would then likely be touching it, but we'll leave it as it is because it's still holding as a trend, and I don't want to move this too much right now. You can see we went up, touched that 618 retrace, started to retrace back, hitting that 50% mark, which is acting as some sort of support right now. Staying above the 20 MA and the Bollinger Band still a little bit wide, so I wouldn't expect a violent movement anytime soon. Momentum going back to neutral in the 4 hour, and RSI going down to 53, which would put us near neutral. On the 1 hour, yesterday when we were doing the day, right? We're right here yesterday. It was 9 p.m. And I was playing around trying to see what we could do. I was tracing like this with the mouse. If you go back to the video and see it, you can see that I was doing this movement because I was trying to determine whether or not we're going to have some sort of divergence that would bring us to this price down, right? A higher high with lower momentum would certainly be a bearish divergence, which would bring us down. However, this candle had not closed. We didn't know if we could have gone and ramped up again to more make more positive momentum. We didn't have the confirmation of the momentum turning negative until 10 p.m. That's why we had not charted this. Now, this is representing a sort of exhaustion from investors, right? Now, we seem to be going up, failing to make a higher high than the previous high, immediate previous high, but still making a lower high, right? Which in a smaller pattern would look like we're doing this, right? A small triangle within the structure, right? If we use this as a base of triangle, another triangle. Now we are at the base of the structure on the 1 hour. We're sitting a little bit below the 50 RSI, 47.11, and momentum right now. It's not really. I wouldn't say that we're making any kind of divergence in the momentum right now. Yeah, no, not really. However, I would expect that we touch these support and maybe it can hold as it's been holding for a while, and we can just ride the price up or go up a little bit before we actually go down again, right? Bitcoin is in that position right now where it could go either way. We could also see a price down on the 4 hour. As you can see, positive momentum's dying out. We can see some negative momentum and some price action to the downside to then boost us up to the upside, breaking out of this channel. However, on the daily, if we play the other chart, this chart on the daily, we'll see that negative momentum is the one that's decreasing, right? So we can still make some negative momentum bars on the daily, maybe a lower or another red candle or a lower high here, or a decrease in momentum, right? A decrease in price action or stagnation that would bring this bar down to zero, and then we could start seeing a positive action that could then certainly propel us up again. That's what I would be seeing right now on Bitcoin. Now we didn't find any Ethereum news, so we're just gonna go jump straight into the chart for Ethereum. We're on the daily, and price of Bitcoin, right? We didn't say price of Bitcoin sitting at 10,701, losing 0.63% right now. Wouldn't worry too much about it. It's a couple minutes ago it was around zero, so it's been neutral. We might see a movement up throughout the day, which would neutralize this bar. I wouldn't expect right now, at least not in the meantime, not in the short time, for us to go down too much, right? Maybe a little bit down, maybe touch this resistance of the 10,243 if we go down and then bounce from it. However, we see that we're sitting at the resistance of the 10,688, which could serve as the support of 10,688, which could serve as support for us to not fall below. And sorry, this is not resistance, this is support right now, right? 10,243. it could serve as support for us to go down, touch there, and retrace. But right now we have two immediate supports: the down sloping channel, the 75% of that's down sloping channel, and the 10,688, which would certainly could make us hold a little bit here. Now, really onto Ethereum. Ethereum losing dominance, right? Yesterday lost 0.94%. Right now losing 0.4%, sitting at 7.7 of market cap. Still below that 8 that we want to see for Ethereum. And we didn't find any news right now that would suggest anything else that could happen for Ethereum, except for the article we found yesterday that said that it was saturated and that it was going to start becoming basically sluggish until they find a new way to process the transactions, right? On the Ethereum chart, right, what we have right now, well, we have this downsloping channel that we broke out of yesterday, or 2 days ago, sorry. And we seem to be inside this upsloping channel as with Bitcoin, so same thing going on. In the 4 hours, we can see it better, right? Touch that channel, went down, touched it again, going up, touch, and we're basically almost touching the bottom again. And we could go up. Bollinger Band still expanded, so not a lot of there could be volatility, but I wouldn't expect a large movement. Maybe we could see a movement to the downside, but right now we're starting to make negative momentum and sitting around neutral on the RSI at 48 on the 4 hour. Let's go at the hour and see what's going on. Short term on the 1 hour on a downtrend. Now on the 1 hour we are seeing divergence, right? Look at this. This low is higher than this low. However, the momentum is dying out right now. So this could play out on the 1 hour where we could go and push to the upside immediately, or close to, and maybe in a couple more candle closes, we might see a movement to the upside. Sitting sold on the RSI at 38.9, not oversold. However, that is something we could work with. Trying to figure out what else is going on. So right now on the 1 hour is where I would make a call that we might see a movement upwards. Negative momentum seems to be dying out. If Bitcoin doesn't do anything weird and dump or drop heavily, we might see Ethereum go a little bit upwards. Maybe throughout the night, maybe tomorrow in the morning, we might start seeing some upwards movement, right? If we were to make a trend or parallel channel, we could do something like this short term, right? We're at the bottom of the channel. We are hitting this resistance as well. But with this momentum, bullish divergence in momentum, we could see a possible turn to the upside, keeping us within the channel and maybe moving a little bit better, right? On to Ripple news. On Ripple, now I found this article. That's the only one I found today, which is a little bit awkward, but it says that Universal Postal Union advocates for the usage of crypto assets, recommending Ripple and the distributed ledger technology of XRP, and the distributed technology of Ripple as a solution to cut costs and the times associated with the money transfers, right? The Universal Postal Union is a specialized United Nations agency that deals with the coordination of postal policies amongst the participant members, along with the global postal system. Now, the use cases that are proposed for this are that, well, one, it's inexpensive and it's near instant inward remittance, meaning that money will transfer faster within the system. Now, in the management, the case two is that in the management of directly money transfer projects, now the UN sends a lot of humanitarian aid to countries, right? And sometimes some of those countries are, let's say, they have corrupt governments. Now, sometimes that money doesn't get to the end receiver. Or sometimes the governments just take that money and don't make the proper use of it, right? So with this, the money could go directly to another organization or to the people that actually need the money. If you haven't seen the movie Red Sea Diving in Netflix, I would recommend it. It kind of illustrates this point where I can't remember which country it was, but they were basically the Israelis were sneaking out people out of the country that were in kind of like refugee camps, right? And the government, the local government of the country, didn't want the refugees to go out, and they were getting mad because they get money for every refugee they have on site. Anyways, that's that's the point I wanted to illustrate, right? So some governments sometimes they get aid, they get help from the United Nations, so they can help the people that are there, but they don't want to solve the issue because then they become used to getting that free money. So instead of solving it and looking for ways to help the people, they just want to keep them, like, let's say, hostage, because then they're receiving humanitarian aid. Anyways, the third case that they make is to facilitate government two-person settlements. Right now, a lot of people use mobile devices or mobile apps to make those government to person-to-government settlements. Now, if they used a crypto, it would be faster and the fees would also be lower, which would end up saving everyone money in the long run. Now, onto the Ripple dominance chart. Ripple dominance sitting at 4.31. Oh, we didn't say Ethereum. Ethereum was sitting at $194.65. Now, Ripple sitting at 4.31, doing positive, gaining some dominance, right? 0.32. Yesterday, it lost a little bit of dominance, 1.10%. Onto the Ripple price. Ripple still winning this downtrend that we traced. Doesn't seem like we're going to break it in the short term. However, we seem to be trading within an uptrend within this downtrend. There's a little bit of inception going on there. But anyways, as we can see, and this is something I was playing with, trying to get a couple more touch points here to where it would make sense, right? Something like this. So acting as resistance, then acting as support, then acting as resistance again. And we have this 0.2799 cent, right? The 27-cent line here. That could be a certain resistance as well once the price starts to go up. In the daily, momentum, right? Kind of dying out. I think it's in the positive right now. So we can say that negative momentum died out right now. Let's hope it stays like this for the day. Like we said, the day it's just starting, right? Momentum dying out. Okay, and it's a little bit in the positive. RSI sitting low at 36.94, which would put us in a sold position, not oversold, but yeah, certainly below the 40. I'm trying to figure out what else I can say here on the daily. Not much. I'm trying to see the bigger picture. Oh, dude, well, that's good. And the daily divergence, right? Look at this. Look at this low. Look at this low, right? Higher, but more negative momentum than this lower. That negative momentum is Ripple might be turning to the upside, right? If nothing else goes wrong with the Bitcoin and anyone else, Ripple might be doing a U-turn somewhere around here and then maybe start pumping up. Could be a possibility from this divergence. And let's see on price. On the RSI, there's not divergence, right? On the MACD, we are seeing that divergence that could play out. Keep an eye out for that. Maybe we could see better things happening right now with Ripple. As we say, it's starting to make positive momentum. Let's go on the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, right? On the 4 hour, might not be as good. So in the 4 hour, we're getting the opposite, right? We have this high to this high. Sorry. This high to this high and this high to this high, making a convergence, right? Convergence. And we also see that happening on the RSI, right? So this is higher than this, but this is lower than this on the RSI. So some convergence. Let's just keep an eye out for that as well on the 4 hour. Let's go look at the hour and see where we're standing at. Right now, Bollinger Band's not contracted, sitting at the bottom of that upsloping channel on the 4 hour, which could potentially play to the upside. We're sitting below the 20 MA, which could pose a certain resistance as well. Just keep. I'm gonna keep conservative on Ripple right now on the 4 hour. On the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, we also have divergence, right? Look at this, from here to here. Look at this, from here to here, right? A lower low, but making a smaller, losing momentum, right? Which is good. This is good stuff, right? I mean, this could on the 1 hour certainly propel us to the upside. Same case that we were seeing with Ethereum and with the daily on Ripple. It could certainly play out really nice. With the 1 hour, I would certainly change my position on Ripple and believe that the move could be to the upside and it could be coming soon. But looking at this momentum, it hasn't died out, so there's still a chance that this might increase momentum, and maybe we could see that move to the upside. Right now, it wouldn't seem that we were gonna make it because we already have this divergence happening, and not seeing it happen over here as well, right? So maybe it's not gonna play out. Look, I'm gonna change my position to neutral on Ripple right now for the time being, because this is not playing out. It didn't play out with a lot of strength. Maybe because there's not a lot of volume in the market trading Ripple, but I would certainly call starting to contract a little bit in the 1 hour and the Bollinger Bands, and from the daily and from this, I would believe that a movement to the upside could be coming. However, seeing that the momentum is not playing out certainly gives me a little bit of worry, right? Right now, the next candle hasn't developed, and the next piece of momentum has not come out yet, which could go up, right? Like it could go down and then go up like it did here, right? Could go up again. We could see higher prices, but right now, I'm going to keep conservative. Right now, we're breaking out of this upsloping channel by a little bit. Maybe make a small adjustment, but this is just a 1 or 2 hours that closed outside. Now, on to Litecoin, because we didn't have any Litecoin news. We're going to jump straight into the chart. Let's go on the daily and Litecoin daily. Right, Litecoin on the daily right now, making positive momentum. We did say the price of Ripple, right? We said it was around 27.2 cents or 27.2 cents, right? Litecoin making positive momentum, 0.75% up. Yesterday lost momentum, 0.77. We basically are back to where we started yesterday, right? You can see, and we're sitting at 1.75, meaning that Litecoin has 1.75% of the market dominance, which is not very much. Onto the price of Litecoin. All right, cool. Litecoin. On the daily, divergence playing out as well, right? It should be a more negative momentum as we keep losing, but it could be playing out. Keep it in mind. Keep it in mind for Litecoin. And let's go look at something. We're still in the down channel. Wouldn't matter if we go up. We would have this resistance from this trend line up here, and we would also have this resistance from the channel, right? So I'm gonna go look at the 4 hours. On the 4 hour, it's making a little bit more. Let's see, on the 4 hour, we're sitting at 44.61 on the RSI. Momentum going back to neutral. And I'm not seeing anything that would indicate that we would go to the upside. However, I would change this and go from here to here instead, which could be creating an upsloping channel as well, a slight upsloping channel on the shorter term. Something like this, maybe a channel that is going up slightly, right? Let's go on the 1 hour and see if we can see anything else on the 1 hour. Bollinger Band starting to contract a little bit more. Not much to detonate yet, but we are seeing some divergence, right? We saw a little bit of divergence. It's not playing out to huge higher prices, but lower low than this one, but momentum also going down. Certainly would have hoped to have seen a more violent movement upwards, but it's not playing out right now. As with Ripple, right? It also seems to not be playing out. Momentum still positive, however, remaining stagnant right now. And let's see what happens in the next couple hours. So right now, I'm gonna remain kind of neutral on Litecoin. However, with this divergence, and if this plays out with momentum, positive momentum developing in the coming hours, we might see a move to the upside. On to Binance dominant. No, Binance Binance news, right? All right, cool. Binance news. If you're a Binance holder and you have not Binance holder, but if you have algo tokens, then there's good news for you. Binance will still support participation of Algorand's 200 million Algo staking reward program, and the rewards will be shared over the next 2 years. They will be distributed every 6 months amongst the staking participants in the network, and qualification details can be found on this website that I have right now. If you guys want to look at it, the link is in the description, as with all the articles that we cover during the stream. Now, on other Binance news. Binance DEX will list Pundi X NEM, or so Pundi X NEM stated on their Twitter, but also Binance DEX stated on their Twitter, right? So they both have the same news. So Pundi X NEM being listed on Binance DEX. Now, this listing is set to happen on August the 20th at 10 a.m. GMT, and it will be paired against Binance Coin, basically, right? That'll be the trading pair. Now, Binance DEX is designed for peer-to-peer protocol system, and it is different from other exchanges or other platforms because it's based on Tendermint Core, which is a more powerful blockchain, and it could handle apparently faster processing of transactions and the speed of trading, right? Onto Binance chart on the daily. On the daily, lost momentum yesterday, 0.7%. Right now, losing momentum as well, 0.16%, sitting at 1.59. Oh man, we skipped the price of Litecoin as well. Litecoin trading at 75.21. Man, it seems to be becoming a repeater pattern for today. Anyways, I'll try to not screw it up with Binance Coin. Anyways, losing momentum. Binance Coin sitting at 27.74 dollars right now, and it's losing opening day right now, going down 1.06%. Still within the downtrend, still above the mid channel of the downtrend, so I'm happy about that. Now, I was playing with another idea on Binance. You know, we were doing this weird thing yesterday. We were trying to say we were upsloping, but that was too short of a pattern. When it wouldn't have enough data for it to develop as well. On the daily, RSI sitting at 45.34. Momentum, we're starting to decrease momentum. However, starting to make more negative momentum again, right? See what happens here. It's what could happen with Litecoin, but we could make more positive momentum, which is what I would like to see for us to say, man, see that real move to the upside, right? Take advantage of that divergence that we created. Now, in Litecoin, right? There was some slight divergence in Litecoin. Unsure if it's going to play out or not, but from here to here, let's say. Right? And then it just basically remained almost neutral. Right? But there was some divergence here. It's not playing out on the daily because we're not... Well, maybe because we saw this green candle, right? So it could have played out, but it was short-lived. It went out real quickly. Let's look at the 4 hour. 4 hours. Okay, cool. Positive momentum has died out. We're starting to make negative momentum. Let's see where this negative momentum takes us. Bollinger Bands contracted. We saw a movement up. Now we're starting to downtrail, consolidating downwards. We've lost all that momentum we gained from this candle, and yeah, still above the 50% trend line of the channel, and sitting slightly low on the RSI, but not too low at 44.02. One second, I have ads playing on the Spotify. Anyway, gonna go over them. We have, okay, like we said, momentum going on. And let's look at the 1 hour, right? And I can't see anything that would indicate anything right here on the 4 hour. So let's go on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, right? Movement down. We can see it was violent. It was, what was it, today? At 3 a.m. Same time everyone went down a little bit. Right, let's see here what's going on. Seems we're creating some sort of divergence, right? Look at this red candle here that I have highlighted on the screen with the with the cross, right here. And look at where we're at up here, right? Look at where we're at right now. We're below that candle, but our momentum's smaller, right? And we don't seem to be making much negative momentum. If we don't make a lot of negative momentum, we might develop divergence and see a move to the upside on Binance, right? So from here to here, and from here to here. See all that? I mean, geez. And maybe here as well, right? See here, we were sitting at what was this? 30.91, and right now we're sitting at 33, right? So it's some slight divergence also on the RSI developing on the 1 hour for Binance, which could certainly see us move a little bit up on price. However, this negative momentum is just starting to develop. Not a lot of development happening, which, like we were saying, right, this could go on and make more negative momentum, and then we could really break through the downside. However, short term seems that we might have a shot of breaking to the upside. If we neutralize this negative momentum, then yeah, for sure. Anyways, I'm gonna look at Binance in another chart because I was playing with another idea, right, of an uptrend. And if we're in an uptrend, we would be at the bottom part of that uptrend. But in the other chart, see, we're looking at a much larger picture, right, a much larger pattern. Now here, if we do that uptrend, it was gonna be too saturated. And I don't want to keep this chart too saturated, but it'll be something like this, right? From here to here and then up here, right? But we get better touch points on the USDC chart, right? And this is a calculated by TradingView, so isn't that actual trading? It's a calculation they make to make it into US dollars, because this currency does not trade against a US dollar pair. It trades against a stable coin. So they transfer it to dollars, and that's why sometimes it's harder to make sense on this chart. I added this one for easier look, for us to have an easier time looking at it. And this one right now, see what I was talking about? Momentum starting to decrease. And look at this. Well, this here we're not having that divergence play out, right? But here we are. Here it was this this candle that was the longest on the 1 hour, and here we don't have that candle, right? This candle is much higher on the actual trading, so that divergence might not play out if we look at this chart. Same for the RSI, right? So let's wait and see what happens with Binance. Let's wait for it to develop a little bit more. We are very close to this support, this upsloping support, and I wouldn't, if this structure was to be valid, then I wouldn't worry too much about price going down. Anyway, guys, that's all for today. Was the stream good? Did you have good sound? Did you have good the music? Was the sound good? I mean, let me know in the comments, right? I want to know if the stream is flowing well, so that in case we need to make any adjustments, we can do them quickly. And if no one has any comments, then that'll be all for today, guys. Happy Tuesday. If you're watching, good morning, good afternoon, or good night, depending on where in the world you're watching us from, or what time you're watching this on the replay. Now, that'll be all for today. Thank you for watching. Again, if you like what we do, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you're notified when we go live. And if you believe that the information that we are providing you here is of value to you and your friends, please let them know that we're here. We really want to get this community going. I'm extremely happy because yesterday's video is getting a lot of traction. Apparently we are over 100 views right now, and I think it's one of the videos that has the most views so far, which is pretty good. So yeah, let's keep it going, guys. Thanks for watching, and that'll be all for today.